Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this video. So in today's video, I wanted to do a quick makeup kind of getting ready routine. This is something that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks since I've moved. I had a couple of questions in my previous video about the kind of my makeup routine on a day-to-day. This is the kind of makeup routine that I would do if I was going out. So if I had a laser hair appointment, if I had a dentist appointment, if I just needed to run to the shops or run a couple of errands, this is kind of what I would usually do. So hopefully you guys will find this entertaining and stick around. And let's get on with the makeup routine. So I'm going to start with my primer. And this is the primer that I like to use. It's by L'Oreal. It's the Infallible Resurfacing Primer. And it's a silicone primer. I like using silicone primers because they fill in my pores a lot more. They kind of smoothen out my fine lines and they make my foundation really even. So I'm going to use this kabuki brush. It's a small kabuki brush. And I'm literally just going to put a small amount on. I kind of like to start with my under eyes a little bit, just because I've got like bags underneath my eyes. Then I kind of just go in on my forehead, usually to my right side and a bit down my face. I don't put too much on. Let me just look into the mirror. I don't put too much on. I just put in enough to cover the whole skin area. I'm basically looking for areas where I want the foundation to come up really, really smooth. So like my forehead, under my eyes, around my temples, around my face. And that's it. The next thing I want to put on is my concealer. So I'm going to use my Illamasqua Rich Foundation as my concealer. And the reason why I'm using this as my concealer is because it's a very heavy pigmented foundation. And it's lasted me like a really, really long time. It's 30 mils. And I like to use this as a concealer. It also has a very neutral base. So my skin tone, I have a bit of a yellow undertone, so like golden to neutral undertone. And I prefer to conceal with my Illamasqua just because it matches my undertone. I don't want anything that is too red. So I'm just going to conceal my jawline here. Like this. I'm actually undergoing electrolysis, if anyone's interested. I'm doing electrolysis on my jawline. Essentially, I never used to get hairs on my jawline. It's something that has started recently. And I did a lot of research and people have said that laser hair removal, it works, but it takes a long time because it kind of like burns their hair. But electrolysis is meant to be like an FDA approved permanent solution to removing hair. Electrolysis is very hard to do on a large area like your legs or your arms, but it's really good for things like if you have like any kind of facial hair, or maybe if you have like underarm hair that you have left after getting laser hair removal, then people recommend electrolysis. So I'm doing electrolysis currently, if anybody wants to know. And it's working really good. I've had like 8 sessions and I've seen a huge reduction in the amount of hairs that is on my jawline. So that's what I'm doing. So that's how I'm just going to conceal. So that's my jawline. And then I'm going to conceal my under eyes. Like that. Everyone conceals differently. Like I said, this is a really quick routine. This is how I get ready in the morning when I'm running quick errands. So I don't use too many brushes. I'm using the same brush. I've tried to keep it small because there's a lot to do in the morning. And so I'm just trying to look as cute as possible quickly and get out the door. So that's basically me concealed. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to apply my foundation. Now the foundation I'm using is a Makeup Forever HD foundation. and it's in the color 4N74. I will leave all of the information in my description box regarding what products I'm using and also the shade. I only use a little bit of foundation. I don't really use too much. I don't like to look really cakey. If it's just like an errand, then I don't need to look too dressed up. I just need to look like presentable, like I've woken up. So this foundation has a bit more of a kind of orangey ready tint or ready tone. So it kind of just kind of makes my face a lot more even, kind of gives my face some color. Even though I have a golden neutral undertone, I don't like to look too flat. So I'm just using a bit of that. And I'm going over my jawline. Going on my nose, finishing the rest on my nose. All around my mouth. And then I'm just evening out the foundation. And I hope you guys can actually see what I'm doing, because the light is slightly yellow here. But I hope you can see that is essentially what I'm doing here. And that's my foundation, that's my base. See? Really simple, really neutral, very natural, nothing too crazy. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply my powder. This is the Makeup Forever powder. And I'm gonna use a flat kabuki brush, flat brush like this, just to apply a bit of powder. I like to start in my forehead. Again, it's a very neutral tone. And then I apply it to my under eyes and cheek. And just down my face. Across my mouth. Down my jawline. Blend, make sure you blend slightly into the neck. And basically that's that. Just keep it really, really light. Now, some people prefer to actually do quite a dramatic under eye. They like to highlight underneath the eye. However, I like to keep my under eyes kind of the same colors as my face. What I love more than highlighting is creating shadow or contouring. I have very dark skin and my face is quite angular, and I like to bring out the angles in my face. So I'm going to use a contour. This is the contour powder that I'm using. It's called Colored Rain. That's the name of the brand. And the color is Cocoa Goddess. This is the deepest bronzer that they have for dark skin. So I'm just going to take a, it's actually a highlighting brush. It's an old highlighting brush. I think it's from Sigma, but I use it as a contouring brush. I'm going to dab a little bit into the bronzing powder, and I'm going to go underneath my cheekbone. Right in the shadow. And I'm going to layer it and layer it and layer it and layer it and layer it. If I was going for a more dramatic look, if I was going out, for example, I would use a contouring stick, or I would use like a dark pigment. I could use a black pigment, highlight right underneath the cheekbone, and then just blend it out. Because this is meant to be like a quick get ready makeup video, this is kind of realistically what I would do. I don't always have the time to do such a have such a lengthy like makeup routine. This is kind of just what I need. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my cheek area. I'm going to bronze my cheek slightly. I'm actually going to bronze my cheek before I apply blush. So I'm using the CoverGirl foundation. This is really old. This is Ebony Bronze. This was a popular collection. I think the who was the person behind it? I think it was Queen Latifah. But this essentially is Ebony Bronze. And I'm just going over my cheekbones. Now, I am actually in the UK, so I'm based in the UK. And I remember how hard it was years ago to get my hands on CoverGirl, because like Sephora never used to ship to the UK. That's literally like several years ago, but they never used to ship to the UK. They never used to cater to UK customers. And being black as well and having dark skin tone was even more hard, because we used to look at America and look overseas and look how much was available to them in terms of like makeup and beauty for black women, and we were trying to get the same thing here in the UK. So I've always loved CoverGirl, just because I remember Sam Fine, who was like an old makeup artist. He's obviously, I think he's still working, but he's a renowned makeup artist that specializes like working on dark skinned women, and he uses this blush. So I was completely obsessed, and I've been obsessed ever since. So I'm just going over my cheeks with Ebony Bronze, just like that. And I'm going to do a little bit on my jawline, just a little bit, just a tad, and a little bit on my nose, just a tad, and that's it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my eyebrow pencil. This is by Grwm. This is Grwm London. This is in the color dark brown. And I'm going to use a brush that they've provided, and I'm just going to brush my eyebrows up quickly. And then I'm going to actually use my mirror. And I'm just going to outline the eyebrow and then fill it in. Nothing too crazy. I've recently just had my eyebrows threaded. Apologies, threaded. So I just need to outline the brow like that. You see? See? Easy, like a model. Very easy. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is, or the next thing I want to do is my blush. I'm going to use Sleek's blush in Aruba. It's a bright orange, which works fantastic for my skin tone. It adds a lot of color to my face. It adds some dimension. I wear this on a day-to-day basis, if I'm honest. If I'm doing a neutral foundation, I usually go for something orange. I usually go for something orange because it's like fail proof, you know? Like, it never fails me. Orange just makes my face pop. Like, it makes my face look brighter. Can you see? It just brings so much color to my face. I always go for this color. So if I'm running out the door and I don't want anything crazy, this is what I would wear. You see that? You see? I just think this blush is just everything. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, I actually need to do my eyes, and I've realized I've left my mascara in the other room. So I'm gonna leave it for now. What I like to do when I'm doing something where I'm just running out the door, you know what I go for? On my lips, just plain lip balm. Plain lip balm. This is a natural lip balm that I got from a site called Eco Verde. I will leave the link for that store below as well. If you're into eco or natural beauty, I highly recommend that shop, especially if you're in the UK or in Europe. I don't really hear anyone talking about it on YouTube. There's so many amazing companies, amazing brands that I can't find on YouTube that no one is talking about, or like retailers. I just find like the typical commercial stuff, and it's just such a shame because like it's 2024. A lot of us are into natural products. We're into like taking care of our health, taking care of our well-being. You know, we care about what we're putting on our skin. We care about what we're eating and what we're consuming. We care about the companies that we are investing in. And no one has ever like spoken about this website. It's just such a shock. So this is the lip balm. I'm just gonna literally moisturize my lips. And it has a bit of a pink tint, which I like. And that's literally it. That's literally what I do on a day-to-day basis if I was just running outside and getting ready. I'm actually going to do one last step, which is I'm going to contour my nose with a bit of bronzer. I like adding a bit of colour and definition to my nose. So I'm just going to do that on the tip. You see? You see? And that's it. And that's it. I would usually put a little bit of shadow on. However, I have had eye surgery recently. I had upper eyelid surgery, and I also had lower lid surgery as well, which is why I'm not actually applying shadow on my lids. So I have had surgery, which is why I'm gonna leave it bare. There's a bit of a scar, if you can see. I don't know if you can see, but it's essentially upper blepharoplasty that I had in LA. I went to LA this year, and I had eye surgery with a really good surgeon, which is why I'm just not going to apply shadow, because it's currently still kind of healing a little bit. I'm applying a bit of vitamin C, and I'm seeing a bit of difference in a way that it's healing, but I can share that in another video. But essentially, this is the look. This is the makeup look. This is the, you know, day-to-day look. Just a little bit of foundation, a little bit of powder, not too much, not too heavy. This is kind of how I like to look on a day-to-day basis. I like to look quite natural and quite clean. So if you're into, you know, a makeup routine that isn't too heavy, this is basically it. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Make sure, if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm going to be releasing a lot more content in the upcoming days, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.